Beings. Thanks for joining us. Nice broadcast. Okay, so the message that came in, right before I do these, becoming more clear. Sometimes I have to look for a subject matter. It's becoming more of the subjects have been becoming easier recently. So Orion Earth takeover. So going to the idea, how they would go about it. Well, at least that's the vibration I got with it. Then Reptilian War Machine. Basically, they're the troops of the Orions, and then we're going to Uranus. It's a little bit lighter vibration overall, and that's about it. Just give you a different take of how things are being done here as we go into a new energy. Definitely a new. As soon as June started, things started to shift. Doesn't mean majorly, but you can feel something's going on. Let's see here. For those who knew all this, livetor.com. We have private sessions, maybe. Private sessions, I'm on the 21st here. Same situation here. We have the webinar sign up. Social network, Rabbit. I'm behind on that, but behind the scenes and the dating site. Sure what else is there. I don't know. I feel they're eager to speak. So see how things go. And it was a June 29th. They're going to have the UFO files. It's on a Tuesday, as far as I know, for the Pentagon. So it's good. So it might be UFO month, but it doesn't mean there's going to be actually aliens connected to this, or by propaganda in the next agenda. Let's wait and see. So, all right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. We are the Orion group. Well, we're giving you a different point of view. There is an Orion group that went off on it like pirates, like space pirates, where they felt they can own the universe and do as they please. So you can say Earth is their junk pile where they lay all their tools, their manipulations, their taxations. They do tax other planets. Now, this is more of a darker group. Not all Orions are like this, but the darker allegiance Orions, some of them don't even have eyes. They just sense through their vibration. They don't need physical eyes. They can see through their third eye very clearly, actually more. There's different various beings like this. They basically feel like they own everything. And the reptilians have been weaponized, interesting enough, through the canines. So they use the canine energies to lower the reptilian energies to manipulate the reptilians. So like canine reptilian wars, you could say. Because canines, as you can see on your world, are very easy to create your own, you can say. Designer canines. That is when one of the issues with the canine beings is that their DNA is misused. And there are, yes, dogman and all different types of canine beings. Or the werewolf, they can be very vicious. Especially if you're around a pit bull, I imagine you've seen, you can say they're. You hear about alligator attacks or crocodile attacks, but dog attacks are probably higher. course, you allowed the dogs into your home. You know, not many people are allowing crocodiles into their home very often. So it shows that how animals can be weaponized. So the Orions found out a way of weaponizing animals to manipulate society, such as yours. So of course they're doing it behind the scenes to make you. That's where religion comes from. So they use religion against you, to their belief system. To it's like putting a wall around your planet, so you don't see them. So they put a religious wall there, so they can do their darkness and without being seen. It's like you're supposed to be at church, you're supposed to be at synagogue, whatever it is, and stay out of their business. So, and that's why they have the money system also. That's another wall. So you have religion, but then you have the money system, because of course they're hiding behind that through their underground, wherever it might be, hiding behind the banks, whatever forces they find. Yes, much of it activities are always criminal activities, at least from your elite, are in your South America. Of course, they're around the world, but South America is plagued by a lot of manipulation. Similar to Africa, but South America is kind of like a business hub in some regard. Of course, you have different business hubs everywhere, but Venezuela has issues, but it's also used to launder money and other things. So there's a lot of criminal activity being done there. So, of course, your Egyptians were used against society instead of helping society. Of course, they were in the beginning, but as Orions took over, they weaponized your Egyptian kings or your pharaohs and gods, the lineage to control society. In a lot of the Greek mythology, actually, a lot has been left out, which has more of your Atlantean knowledge. They did keep some of it for your creatures and your monsters to give you some idea of who's behind all of this, but for the most part, a lot's been removed and most likely not to be returned anytime soon. So for us to bring this up, it's Orion beings. Basically, they find the weakness in society, and yes, the human element, the DNA. Humans are gold. That's why the human trafficking comes in, because humans are used for payment on other planets, here, but on other worlds, because of the DNA and how to use it, how to weaponize it. It's like a humans are kind of like canines. They just how you weaponize a human. I mean, there's a lot of canine here, or Sirius, if you want to look at it that way. Humans are weaponized against each other for the most part. So there's just it's an experiment. It's a psychotic experiment, and there are layers of awakening that's occurring. Of course, those of you want this awakening, yes, be ready for. If you really want this awakening, there's going to be some major changes here. It's basically awakening is for you to handle the change. And many of you in your awakening state have handled it quite well. Of course, nothing's perfect. Things can always be better. But you're not going through many are not going through the stress as others go through. Of course, there's always going to be some form of worry of the future, because that's another thing that the Orions own is the future. They clouded that out. They clouded many things out. Akashic record energies, chakra energies, anything metaphysics, they clouded out that because that's where they operate. So, of course, they operate, yes, in the astral, many different places. So when you have pirate beings here, now you can look at it from different aspects, but they're technically like, they attacked this world like a pirates would savage a planet, where it was weak, where Atlanteans already made many mistakes, and it was at its weakest, and then they took advantage of it. And they did it in the shadows through secret societies, which many secret societies, yes, are hidden from public knowledge. You have some that are well known, but which are not usually acknowledged, but there's many others that are not. Even some within your Masonic groups, there's even more secret society energies within them. dimension. So it goes deep. It does where, yes, where your queen is invented to once again control society. And there's much more to it than that. And that's very reptilian. Well, that's our Orion reptilian to show who's boss. That we own you. And isn't that how it pretty much works? So there are, of course, positive Orions that are assisting as much as they can. But the human race has to want help also. Some do, most don't. Most are warring, growing, sabotaging themselves. You'd be surprised how many alien groups there that are just surprised that humans don't really want help. They just want to be left alone. And that's what's been done. Alien groups help where they can. The Palladians do feel like they could have done more for the world, but they didn't quite understand this planet in the past. And the Yell did not either, actually. Yes and no on them. But the Palladians thought they had this place figured out. They thought it'd be safe, it'd be fine. Come to find out it was not. It just, most alien beings have not experienced anything like this planet before. It took it to a whole nother level. Yes, where war and just dissension was everywhere. It's like, instead of a world that wants to evolve, this world wants to de-evolve. Even take it back to the Stone Age. Or even take it back to the dinosaurs. What it won't. Bring back the dinosaurs and just wipe out the human race altogether. And that was actually one of the many plans that were done here. So it's one of the reasons why the dinosaurs were taken from the planet, because they would cause a lot of difficulties for humans, obviously. But yeah, so they're of course in another dimension, several dimensions. But the Orion oath is, yes, religious connected. Orions, those that are, yes, they can sometimes look like Knights Templar. They can look like some kind of religious figure. Some of them feel like they're being given from God to do what they're doing here, to make a world that's very savage, where they're kind of the saviors. That is true. And then some of the darker Illuminati feel like they're the saviors because the world is still here. People still get to eat, don't they? Yeah, they have a twisted way of looking at things too, especially the suffering that's here. But they feel as the suffering here, those people deserve it. Which is interesting. Some of you have actually had incarnations within these elites too. That's why you can read them easily. You've infiltrated, you've known them in some form or another. Doesn't mean they're going to be released from the world just yet. Maybe understood and tapped into more clearly as more going to their spiritual awareness. When you have astral travel and you connect to the controllers of this planet, which are many. There's many upon many. It's difficult to find actually one certain species really when it comes down to it, because they're heavily guarded. The ones that are truly running all this, it's just, there's really no going to be an easy answer for who's really running everything, because they made it convoluted and impossible to find. But it does not mean you can't heal and go forward, which you are. It's the reptilian element. Basically, reptilians are going through the same thing what humans are going through. As humans have been manipulated, so has reptilian beings. Humans have been weaponized against each other, and so has reptilian beings. So as more of that becomes clear, because they are, just like your modern military is used to go after other countries, your reptilians, portion of them, not all of them, but a portion of them, or Orion reptilians or Draco reptilians, are assigned to your planet to keep it locked down. And they're doing a bang up job, as you can see. If they're giving out awards, they'll get a lot of awards for it. So, all right, to bring in a reptilian representative, the best of our ability, of course. Greetings to you. We are Reptilian High Council. We are very connected to your United Nations. Yes, we are. Well, our group is here for peace, but there's many groups that are not here for peace. Many of them are, yes, of fighting a lot of your tall white beings, trying to lower the tall white energies as they escaped the Orion clutches. They are assisting. Tall whites are assisting the best they can to keep the vibrations going. Because you can say when they came here, they knew this world was under attack, so they're basically defending it any way they can. Just the human race in general. You know, for their race, all races, because you're human, you're going to get help from anyone, actually. Because if your race goes down, other races go down with it. That's why your world still exists. Yes, of course, there are reptilians that they're literally their bloodline was designed to conquer your planet. And there is some dragon, of course, connected to it, but also your T-Rex, your dinosaur energies. Basically, they're always monitoring how humans think, operate, their consciousness. They're always predicting the future. So yes, they now reptilian beings that are controlling your society or manipulate to a certain extent are aware of the future. They're not aware of all exactly where things are going. Nobody really knows. Well, some do. But the reptilian beings are basically they're here now. You might even see some of their cities that are here in the fourth dimension. They do have places where they land. A lot of it is in desert areas, but not necessarily always there. You might be wandering, minding your own business, and actually see a vision of a reptilian base, what that would even look like here. If you tune into it or you're just minding your own business. Because as you shift your vibrations, they can't hide anymore. Obviously, it's in the fourth dimension. It's not going to be seen here physically, but it always gives you more of an idea how things are. Yes, they have their own version of the NSA. They have their own. Well, basically, the reptilians are the CIA, I guess. Yeah, there's a covert, basically the psychological, and they're all taught how to manipulate humans. The human weaknesses, they're all, if you're becoming a problem, they all, well, at least those in your area are aware of it. Or if you have a human that's a problem, breaking through your matrix, you say all your reptilians get an email. Well, a galactic message, you can say. Yes, there's a giant force behind your reality to keep this place under lockdown. There is an awakening. They are allowing it. They can't shut down everything because that'll cause harm to their karma. So they can't lock down everything. They can't stop everything. They have to allow humans to breathe. They can't just cause genocide. They're not really here for genocide. They're here to get humans to do their own genocide. But they can't really do it themselves. But they're basically influencers. To get humans to self-destruct, but basically to get humans to say this reality is reality and that's it. And most of your humans are adapting to it, especially you have stores, you have clothes, you're in the clothes and the stores and all the buildings. It just keeps you focused on this reality. As many of you are opening up more of your crown chakras, you can like see a building, but it's like maybe it's not there after all. Maybe there's something else there. And there's many things there actually. Yes, talking crazy to a regular human, but what do humans know? Humans are taught to for their weaknesses to become their life. You know, to be imperfect, but to say, wow, you're just a mess. You want humans to be just all out of control, just broken down, needs therapy, depressed, on drugs. Of course, they find everyone. That's why alcohol is always legal. You know, that's the medicine of chaos. You know, people drink to get through life. So life can be better, of course, if you remove all of that, but of course society is not allowing it. Even your alcohol is part of this reality for me on so many different levels. So it's just so where you're going at this point is individually seeing more. Where the third dimension is no longer as strong as it used to be. And many of you are feeling it now. Expect more of that. Yes, expect your third eye, your vision, your imagination to open up more. Whereas beings, it's like, did I just see a reptilian? Did I see a being in my? You expect more of that. They also use the insectoids to use the manipulation. They're constantly scanning your reality. It's like a big brother system, but it's been like that for thousands of years. Whereas with any war, there's like they're all for it. And so there's different wars. There's domestic wars, meaning like within the family. So if they don't have yeah, a lot of them are disappointed. There's no war outside. That's why your UFO situation is being manipulated this time. Now, a treaty, you can take this how you want, but the treaty has to do with alien treaty. They talk about UFOs, but alien, yes, has been exempt and most likely to stay exempt. Most likely, unless something changes. Where, yeah, this is more like an Earth problem. UFOs are somebody has technology, and we're going to figure it out. And that's it. Expect that. Of course, a lot of your politicians expect many of them to become more sick because they're lying a lot. They know more of what's going on. I'm not going to go into names. But they know, but they're told not to say anything. You want to list your job, your family, everything? And some might find that cliche, but it's true. Well, because if that doesn't scare you, they'll find something else that will scare you. They'll just go down the line until it's like, okay, all right, no more. So just go down. So all of a sudden, your family's having all these problems. All of a sudden, you're just having bad luck after bad luck. That's very strange. Yeah, they work like that. Some of your celebrities that instantly die for some reason, we're not going to go into the details of how, because they went against the system. Just like that. Some of them that actually end up with Parkinson's or out of nowhere. Some are actually here to heal Parkinson's. Like, once again, we're not going into details of who, but some are actually to help that situation. But there's others here that just get it out of nowhere. Yeah, which means that they're under attack, meaning they're actually opening up. Robin Williams is a good example of that. Psychic level, it's hard to see it, but if you see it on a psychic level, it gets heavy. And the more of the outrageous will become more normal. Meaning you're going to see more of the astral realm, how it operates too. You have no choice. Well, for some of you, most are going to just not be prepared, which is normal. They're not ready for all this. Yes, for the small percent of you that are in an awakening state, if you were just on this planet and the rest of the population was not, you'd be already having this conversation with alien beings right now. You want to see this channeling, you'll actually talk to the beings themselves. And probably you wouldn't have a problem with it, really. But because most of your population is under attack, it's not ready, it's under attack, it's going through it. I mean, it is under attack, under manipulation grid. It's taught to not awaken. It can, but it chooses not to. But as you can tell, this can get quite heavy and dense as you go forward. All right. Thanks. Greetings. We are Uranus. We actually are part of much of your nature: trees, plants, animals, water. Much of your water does come from Sirius. It does come from other planets. I know this one's a little bit strange. Well, your tree beings, yes, would like to become more known part of your society. They like to speak more. Yes, have family meetings. Even your home where you live, apartments, that can even speak to you also. Obviously, that might be a little bit much. I mean, on Palladian worlds, you go to a house that's usually naturally built, just no trees are cut down. normally. Well, I guess it depends on what planning world you're on, but you actually talk to where you live. You talk to your home. Feel the vibrations of it, you have a conversation with it. You might even stay there overnight just to have a conversation with your new home or potential home. Even find out what kind of feelings it has and what it's been doing at night and things like that, and how the neighbors are. Of course, your world's not quite at that level. It's still, yeah, superstitious, afraid of itself, laughing, but also intrigued at the same time. Well, it's just allowing your planet to speak more. Your sidewalks, your streets. The streets on your planet, actually, you can say there's a grid there, yes. Especially the circle grids are very manipulative. They show it as a good thing, but it also brings in, it's like you can say it's like a Stargate in some ways. A crop circle in some regard, too. A lot of alien races like to hide their manipulations here and call it normal. It's just a lot of awakening you're doing here, layers upon layers of it. Yes, there is actually a lot of Agarthian castles in your Agartha, to make that clear, or your fairy realms that are in your big cities and other dimensions. Los Angeles, in New York, just giant castles. And yes, they might have reptilian beings there, wizard beings, something out of Lord of the Rings. That's another reason why there's chaos there in different realms. You can take this however you want. Some might have difficulties adjusting to that. Well, it's just Agartha is a lot larger than some people might think. And there's multiple layers to other regions that some of you have tapped into. I mean, you might look at a city and say, there's a city there, but I feel like there's a castle there also somewhere, but it's in another dimension. And it's not as negative, but it is programming our reality. Yes, it comes down to the fairy kingdoms in the long run of your origin planet. Your fairies, your Agarthian beings, they're been blocking our connection there. Yes, they've been blocking us as we try to speak more. But your fairy kingdoms, we'll just use that for example. They're blocking us everywhere they can. Your Agarthian world is your natural world. Just where life is more alive. And you're bringing that basically bringing Agartha into your reality here, everywhere. We have castles, but not like your medieval castles in your London and all that, because you're Britain, because those have agendas. These are more like castles of enlightenment. Yes, it might be for battle, but this planet is going to have some kind of battle going on, but basically buildings of just positivity, soul growth, just a different vibration altogether. Dragons and things of that kind. They become more clear. Where nature speaks more clearly to you. Yes, you can go outside and talk to your grass or your flower garden, whatever it might be. Because the consciousness will start to sing more. And even nature sings itself. So you've heard probably of worlds that, well, some of you probably have heard, like worlds where you have music everywhere. Like this is song. That's nature's song. That's also the consciousness. The human consciousness or the planet's consciousness, allowing that just music, just to help the vibrations. There's nothing to worry about. You'll bring that back too one day, where there are places that do mountains, I believe in China, that do sing. Yes, strangely. But that's when your mountains have to create their own sound, but in a natural way to help you evolve. That's what this is all about, is evolving. Some have difficulty. They don't want to evolve. They might say they want to evolve. Some or holding back. You'd be surprised how real this can be. where you can truly have a different reality here. Many don't want to hear it. So sending your energies into your transformation.